Let me put it this way. Nations depend on rules, fair rules. Sometimes they're written down, often they're not. But either way, they give shape to our values.
What he's talking about is culture, right? Now, all of a sudden, they understand what British culture is. Did you get that? Because up until now, if you were to talk about British culture, you'd have like an army of people on social media. But like, what is British culture? How do you define it? What is it? Well, apparently, the definition is a set of rules that aren't written, which society has to follow. Wow, fascinating. The level of progress we're witnessing ever since Trump got elected, a lot of people are becoming more enlightened and more educated without having to go to academia.
Guide us towards our rights, of course, but also our responsibilities, the obligations we owe to each other. Now, when I dive...
Interesting. Now we're talking about rights and responsibilities. Shocking, isn't it? Because up until now, whenever I heard a leftist politician talking, was about rights. We need this right, we need that right, women's rights, environmentalist rights, rights this, rights that. Never about responsibilities. And, you know, through the prism of a woke ideology, you kind of get why they were never talking about it. Because if you believe that your nation state is systemically racist, a patriarchal society that keeps women down, well, you don't want to have obligations towards that state. Because that state is evil, right? And so now we notice a huge shift in the way that politicians are talking. Now all of a sudden you don't just have rights, you also have obligations.
Diverse nation like ours, and I celebrate that.
I love the fact that he needs to reinforce the commitment. Because like everyone on the left is like, wait, those are far-right talking points. Like, did you steal Nigel Farage's speech? What is happening here? And he has to go. It's like, no, I love diversity. I pray to it every single day.
These rules become even more important. Without them, we risk becoming an island of strangers.
Oh my goodness. He sounds like an edgy YouTuber in 2016 before the algorithm would crack down on you. A little bit more and he's going to start the journey of Sargon of Akkad, right? He's going to find John Locke, going to start reading, and he's going to start preaching at the masses.
Not a nation that walks forward together. So when you have...
Right, so multiculturalism now it isn't like people doing their different things. It's people walking together. I gotta say, I need to learn expressing myself like this because I realize there are two types of people in the world. And you have to accept this. Like, you can't change them. They exist. There is the rationalist type, and that person requires strong, clear-cut arguments in order to be persuaded. And then you have the emotional types. And just like you can't use the emotion in order to persuade the rational type, you can't use ration in order to persuade the emotional type. You gotta create these beautiful images. We are people walking the same road together. Instead of telling them that there is one culture, right? And everyone has to follow it. If you tell them that, they don't like it. It's cold. It's systemic. It's oppressive. But we're walking the journey together. Seriously, don't laugh. Don't try to contradict me. Try and understand what I'm saying. There are people out there which have the exact same influence that you do. And in some cases, maybe even more. Maybe they're richer than you. Maybe they have a higher social network than you, right? But they think differently than you. And you need to accept this as fact. You need to accept this as reality. Those people do not view their world through reason. They view their world through emotion. Again, they exist. You gotta accept this. You can't fight against the tide. And what you need to do, because you're a person of reason and understanding, is to figure out a way to give your message to those people in a way that resonates with them, right? So you don't say, in Britain, we do what British do. Like, when you're in Rome, do what the Romans. No, like that. They find that to be oppressive. But you can say the exact same message by saying we need to walk the same road together. Right? when you're looking at Kier Starmer giving a speech, stop looking at it through the prism of politics. It's like, okay, he's a left-leaning person, he's an evil person, or whatever people say, right? Instead, try and see what you can learn from him. Try and see what things that he does are bad, so you don't reproduce them. But also notice how he speaks with the leftists. Why? Because if you want to speak with the leftists, maybe you can understand a little bit, because you're a person built around reason. If you're a person built around reason, you should be able to learn how to push your point across different types of people.
Have an immigration system that seems almost designed to permit abuse, that encourages some businesses to bring in lower paid workers rather than invest in our young people.
Did he steal Nigel Farage's speech? Again, I need to repeat myself, I'm sorry, but it sounds like I'm listening to a far-right person. It sounds like if someone was to say this on social media, he may get debanked. Didn't Nigel Farage get debanked for similar shit? I'm afraid to keep listening to the end of his speech. Because I know in Britain, you can say some things on social media and get into trouble. I don't want to get into trouble. So I'm afraid now to listen to the last 46 seconds of his speech. Like, maybe he's going to drop some far-right rhetoric or some shit.
Or simply one that is sold by politicians to the British people on an entirely false premise.
Who are those politicians? Can we name them? What party are they from? Who would do something like this? Goodness gracious, Kier. All those evil politicians. Oh, they're selling a lie to the British people in exchange for profit and grift. Name them, Kier. Give us their names. You want? Huh? Not a single one? Why not?
Then you're not championing growth. You're not championing justice, or however else people defend the status quo. You're...
Marvelous. Okay, so as long as you have a compassionate face, right? Like, look at his facial expression. What do you see? You see compassion, empathy, right? As long as you have that, you can pretend you're not the status quo. Like, look at the people who build their world around emotion. Right? Like Kier, I don't think he builds his world around emotion. I think he builds his world around systems, around PR teams, around influencers, around sociologists and social engineers that just draft a speech for him and say, read this, and make him an emotional face. And him being a smart person in reason, he knows, like, okay, if I read this, they'll believe me. But his supporters, the people who vote for him, a lot of them are deep into emotional territory. And so, like, notice when you talk to a person that's in an emotional way and you build this image about justice and people walking together on a road, all of a sudden, they don't care about reality. They don't care that this guy is the fucking status quo. He's the prime minister. Like, you don't get more status quo than him. It's fucking impossible. He's at the peak of the status quo. And so, being the status quo, he can actually talk to the people and pretend that he's actually a revolutionary. Again, look at the sweeping landslide victory that his party had in Britain. And it's not like he just got into power. It's not like he just managed to get inaugurated yesterday and now he's saying, well, you know, we got a difficult job ahead of us because look how bad these other guys fucked the country. No. What he's saying is, don't look at reality. Forget the fact that I'm prime minister. Forget the fact that my party has not just supported all of these policies, but we're the ones that began them. Forget all of that shit. Instead, let's walk the road together. Let's embark on a nice journey on a rural road in the countryside, holding hands and not letting anyone behind.
Actually contributing to the forces that are slowly pulling our country apart.
Look how ambiguous these forces are. Like, they can't be named. He can't name, like, a single hotel mogul that is profiting off the system. He can't name a single grifter politician. He can't name anyone. It's just like these ethereal, ambiguous forces that just, like, gravitate around Britain influencing the public in a negative way. I expect that by the end of the speech, he's going to start talking about feng shui. It's like the reason there's bad things in your house is because of the arrangement of the objects. Like, he is reaching that level of mysticism. We're going deep into mystical territory here, you know, like forces that can't be named, energies that are affecting us in a negative way. Is it a politician? Is it anyone? No, ambiguous.
So yes, I believe in this. I believe we need to reduce immigration significantly. That's why some of the policies in this white paper go back nearly 3 years. Why I told the Labour Party conference, taking back control is a Labour argument. And why, most importantly of all, inward migration is already falling with this government.
Right.
Let me put it
what is actually going on here? Now, this is just my opinion built around noticing trends for the last 10 years. I don't have a doctor in a lab coat behind me to give me research papers. I'm not a sociologist. It's just like when I'm looking at the world, listening to various world leaders talk and seeing what they want me to understand. And so what their plan is, whether or not they can achieve it, whether or not it's realistic or not, but the direction that they're trying to pull the words towards is to stakeholder capitalism, as they call it, the Great Reset. Like, they view that the world, up until now, is unsustainable. And they want to move towards a sustainable society. And they're very explicit about what that is, what they're trying to accomplish. But the reality is that the average person doesn't necessarily benefit from this change. Their standards of living goes down, the prices of houses are going up, they're going to have a more difficult time for themselves and their kids. And so the people that are trying to push for this great reset, they are aware that there's going to be pushback. They are aware that certain systems are going to have to go down, and a lot of people aren't going to be happy. And so what they want to do is to do managed decline. Like, yeah, things will go down, but like if we manage the rate of the decline, if we do it slowly, when there's pushback, we pull back a little. If we manage it like that, then we can achieve our goal. Can they do it? I don't know, but I think this is part of it. I think this is what managed decline looks like. First, you push really hard. First, you dictate to people what they need to think, and you use the newspapers, you use social media, you downrank people that are against you. Nigel Farage gets debanked. You make it unthinkable for people to be against immigration. But when the effects are starting to become so noticeable that the last local election, you notice that an opposition party is sweeping across the nation and you're losing dramatically, that's when you step in and you try to act a little bit more reasonable. You know, you slow immigration a little bit. You now allow for a couple of dissenting voices. You pretend that you were always part of the dissenting voices so that you can win the next election. And after you win the next election, you go back into full swing. This is a tactic that works if you want to make a radical change in a society and you know people are against it. You start by going 150% from the get-go. Like, you're pushing your policies to the extreme. And then when people start complaining, you go from 150 to 100. And now you look reasonable. Now all of a sudden, it looks great. And people like you for it. You still manage to gain some votes. Doesn't necessarily mean you'll win, but what it means is that you will survive so that when you get reelected again, you can resume your policies. There's a Jewish joke. Can I say Jewish jokes on the channel? Is it okay? Because this is in Britain. British people will see it. There's a Jew, and he is unhappy because he lives in a small house. He lives in a small house with his wife and his in-laws. And so he goes to the rabbi, and he asks the rabbi, what do I do? I have a very difficult time. Me and my in-laws, we're always arguing because we're always in the same room. I don't have any privacy with my wife. We're going to have children soon, and we don't have a big house. How are we going to deal with it? And the rabbi says, get the goat inside the house as well. A Jewish person is terrified. It's like, what do you mean get the goat inside the house? Like, it's already difficult. Now I have to live with an animal. Get the goat inside. And so he gets the goat. And 2 weeks later, you know, he got his head is messy. He's absolutely desperate. It's like, Rabbi, what did you do to me? My life is an absolute hell. Like, the goat is shitting everywhere. It's pissing everywhere. We can barely live. What are we going to do? And the rabbi says, get the goat out. And so now he gets the goat out. And he comes to the rabbi and he thanks him. His life has improved dramatically. Even though, like, his life is literally the same way it used to be at the beginning, right? Like, nothing changed. And this is how politicians fuck the people, right? Like, they get in power, they get the goat in. They're the ones that got the goat in, by the way, right? And then they're telling you, okay, we're getting the goat out. And everyone is thankful for them. Everyone is grateful. Everyone is happy. Oh my goodness, the politicians saved the day. But they're the ones that got the goat into the first place. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.